Okay, I started recording the meeting. So Chloe, if you want to pull up the presentation, we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah. Okay. So welcome everybody. If you have not voted, please leave this meeting and go vote because the polls close at 8 tonight. So please, please, please leave and go vote. We are telling you to leave. This isn't as important. And then we have Dean, the president of Men and Ed, here to introduce what Men and Ed is, and then we will talk about gender disparities in education.
They're within 100,000 votes at 64%.
Sorry, this election's getting excited. My pardon for my
They're very close.
me and my roommate are talking. But anyways, hello everybody. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, and hopefully we can get through these slides so that all of you can enjoy your evenings and go ahead and watch this mess. Anyways, a little bit about me to start. My name is Dean Bouzoulaki. I'm a senior in the School of Education. I'm currently studying special education. I'm a member of the marching band, although sports kind of look pretty terrible right now, but I'm a tuba player in the marching band. And the reason I got involved with education is because I'm an Eagle Scout, and oh gosh, it's been a while now, but I started out in scouting at a leadership camp that I worked at for about 4 summers. And each year I started working with scouts with special needs as part of my small group discussions. And so I kind of just took that and was like, I really love teaching people and really working with people with special needs, and just like everybody brings unique challenges and unique assets to the table. So, but more importantly, I'm the Men in Ed president this year. Men in Ed started 2 years ago, I believe now. And while the name implies men in education, anybody is welcome. We had a couple we had a really nice mixed group the last meeting that we had. And what we are, Men in Education was founded because of almost like a deficit within the School of Education. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that in a couple of slides here. But at the School of Education, we have a really small population of men with throughout education programs, and there's a reason for that. So we're going to kind of explore that tonight. And then I know Chloe has some stuff to present about just equity in education overall. So if you want to keep going here, Chloe. All right, so I want to present you with this first graph, and the little bibliography, whatever, is on the next page here. But this graph shows percentage distribution of teachers in public elementary and secondary schools between 1999 and through 2000 and 2017 through 2018. So overall, there's more females in education, and I wish there was showed everybody like the gender, I guess, line, and how gender is not linear. And so I wish that this graph did a better job of showing that. But overall, there's more females than males in education. And in fact, that percentage of males dropped in 2017 to 2018. Additionally, we see more males in secondary education, so that'd be middle and high school level, but still overall more females in education. If you want to go to the next slide, then please. And then this one is showing the race and ethnicity based off of teachers in education, both public elementary and secondary schools. And again, we do see more white people in education. However, we do see in 2017 through 2018 an increase in our Latinx and Hispanic teachers. And I'll kind of explain more of the importance of race as it pertains to the classroom as well throughout this, as we continue to explore gender and equity in the classroom. So go ahead, Chloe. All right, so now this document, which you can actually pull this up on the School of Education website and look at different fields and a variety of different things, gender, ethnicity, race, etc. But these are the traditional education programs offered within the School of Education that you'll see here. So those are being the art program, kinesiology, the special education program, and then the dual cert and elementary ed programs. And what you will notice is that there's a small percentage of men in the School of Education. If we just base it off of this metric, that's 13% of men in the School of Education, which is actually down from previous years. I believe 2 years ago, we had 20% of men in the School of Ed. And then if you look at my major in particular, there are only 4 men in the special education program, which kind of poses a problem in itself. And then the second graph that you see here is race and ethnicity. And again, we see that there's predominantly white individuals going into the education program. So the next thing we have to ask ourselves is, where do we see men traditionally in the education field? So historically, there's been a gender imbalance. When we look through like the bowels of history, if you will, traditionally the teacher role has been female. And this goes back to the early days of education. And one reason why I think men in general don't grasp onto the idea of education as being a profession is primarily because of lower pay as well as social standing. And I think this, in a way, too, goes back to gender dynamic in the household, because traditionally men were the ones that paid the bills, where the women stayed home to take care of the children. However, that is much different in today's standard. Additionally, we see more men in physical education settings, in history and math classes, as well as in the STEM field. And again, I think this relates to just going to school in general, and how predominantly, or for a long time anyhow, the engineering field was very much a male-dominated field. However, we are slowly starting to see that change as well. And then I want to talk about building relationships, and this is kind of where everything comes together. As teachers, we know that it's very important to build relationships in the classroom. In fact, you can't even start really teaching your students until you've formed those relationships. But there is a gender disparity in the teaching profession, and it matters. Here, I just, not really because of politics, but I have this picture of President Obama with another Black male in the education setting. And Black boys need to have positive male role models in their classroom experience. And just to show you how in special education, for example, we have 4 men in the School of Education in special ed, there's a problem there. And so part of why Men in Ed is here is to talk about those problems, talk about solutions to those problems, and try to increase not only just men, but teachers in general in the education field. Because men, or I guess Black boys, or in general, people that are the same as you will relate more to you. And this article does a really good job of talking about this, but talking about how as male teachers in the education field, we have the ability to help shape ethical compasses for these boys, as well as promote future growth within our own profession. And I like to use this example of my math teacher in middle school. I think middle school is a really big turning point for me in terms of just my life as well as education. And 7th grade in middle school, I had a math teacher and an English teacher that did a phenomenal job of just not only teaching the content, but connecting to their students. And again, it's because they were men in the education field that kind of sort of inspired me to be that person that can promote change, promote growth, as well as just promote engagement within the classroom. And again, I don't think this is necessarily all a gender issue, because in general, we need to be those beacons of hope and beacons of inspiration for our students. I also want to kind of talk about how part of the reason why I don't think there's a lot of men in the education field is because of the media and how the media portrays male teachers. And this is another thing we talk about in Men in Ed is how, unfortunately, there's been a lot of situations in the past or that have been presented now in the present, but occurred in the past, where you hear men have sexually assaulted a student. And so I think that puts a bad rap on male teachers in general. And again, this article really does a good job of it kind of simplifying this whole idea. But I think that it's really important, regardless, that we try to be those points of inspiration for our students. And even right now, like I personally am working with a African American male in my one of my special education breakout groups, and I've just been starting to build that relationship, and that's the starting point for a lot of success and a lot of growth in your students. You need to build those relationships first, and I think that's the most important thing. So um, that's a little bit about men in education, a little bit about just the profession in general. And now Chloe's going to be talking to you a little bit more about equity as well as equality in education. So go ahead, Chloe.
Yeah, so I wanted to start by explaining what I mean by gender. And gender is a person's social identity as male, female, or non-binary. And then it can also mean someone who identifies as transgender, which is when they identify as a gender that is different than their biological sex. And then there is a difference between gender equality and gender equity. So gender equality is the end goal. It's the access to rights and opportunities that aren't affected by gender. When gender equity is the means to reach our end goal of gender equality, and it's promoting fairness in education and confronting stereotypes and biases that have historically limited students and teachers' potential. And then when is gender equality achieved in education? When all of our students have equitable access to and the use of resources, when they can have equitable participation, when they feel safe and they have freedom from violence. And why does it matter? Because children make assumptions about gender very early on in life. Like I remember, like when you're little, you think, oh, girls wear dresses, things like that. Like they see that and they are already forming these stereotypes that we have today. And then how can we as educators make a difference? One is be a role model. Two, don't connect gender to an ability or personality trait. Like males can be nurses too, not just women. It's just like teachers. Teachers can be males too. And then include gender equality in your curriculum. Look at the books that you're using in your classroom. Do they include notable female figures? Do they just talk about the male's perspective? And then teach students to be aware of their personal biases, like, oh, boys don't wear dresses, things like that. We have to make our students aware that they have these. And then here are some resources for you all if you want to dig deeper into this topic as well. Then are In the Field, In the World, and in Madison. So In the Field.
Hello. So for the In the Field this week, I looked at the website Vocabulary, which is a really fun website if you've never seen it before. So it pretty much makes raps and hip hop songs out of things that you will teach in your classrooms one day, and they do a really good job. They're really entertaining and fun. But the type of video that I'm going to talk to you about today is called the Weekend Rap. And they have a version that's for 6th through 12th graders, and then the Week Junior, which is for 3rd and 5th graders. And then I'm not sure if the link's going to work because I just realized now that it's through my account. So we'll see if it works. But if not, you can make a free account. And it pretty much tells your kids what happened that week in a way that hits all the standards and is done in a pretty bipartisan way. So, and very entertaining. So I love this app. I think it's really fun.
In the World.
Hi, everybody. So for In the World, it's not really in the world, it's more in Wisconsin, I should say. But as many of you probably know, Wisconsin is becoming the epicenter or is the epicenter of COVID. And a lot of schools that have been doing in-person or hybrid models of teaching are slowly going online. And the main problem that schools are facing are teacher shortages. A lot of schools have like upwards of 300 teachers, school districts, I should say, calling in absent per day. And obviously there's not enough enough subs, that's what I meant to say, to fill in for those teachers. So if you want to learn more, you can click on the picture. A link is attached. And really, the teachers here, just a lot of them in this article are wanting to go online to be safe for themselves and their families and their students. And I made a little note on the side here that we as aspiring educators are part of a teachers union, and this is a reason why it's important to be part of a teachers union, because these unions are fighting for teachers' rights and are helping these teachers to work with their school districts to do what is safe for them and their students. So if you want to learn more, feel free to click on the link and learn more.
Sign up for WEAC.
That's a good point, Dean. Yeah, so I have in Madison, mine is very specific to this day. There are polling places all around Madison. There's about over 60 polling places open, and they close at 8 p.m. tonight for in-person. And the last time that I checked, they said that they had over 100,000 have already voted in Dane County prior to today, which is amazing. Everyone that's over 18 has the right to vote and should practice their voting. Obviously, we're not going to push on who necessarily you should vote for, but the practice of just having your voting right and sharing your vote. So yeah.
So for your November outreach opportunity, there is a talk with Dr. Erica Turner. It's called Suddenly Diverse, How School Districts Manage Race and Inequality. And she is from the Department of Ed Psych, and she's going to talk about her book. And if you'd like to sign up, click the link, and then it's going to take you to a web page. And there isn't a link on the web page. You just click the online thing, and then you'll go straight to the Zoom room. And it's on Monday, November 9th at 2:30 p.m. I'm very excited for this one. I will be there, and I hope to see you there too.
And then I will be speaking on behalf of Mary, our fundraising liaison. She is currently doing an amazing job working the polls tonight. So we're very proud of her for going out and, working towards the voting. But she created a trivia night for November 20th at 7:15 p.m. It's $5 a person, and you're supposed to register teams ahead of time. I am currently working on putting my team together as we speak. Everyone is welcome. You do not need to be solely an aspiring ed member or WEAC paid member. It's for your friends, it's for your family, and doing it in the safe way that you think is needed. And there's prizes for the winners of the trivia night, and the QR code below will help you sign up. And then we also are offering a discount for the mentor program participants. So if you and your mentee/mentor sign up for the event at the same time, you'll each get $1 off, and you do not have to be on the same team in order to get this discount. You just need to sign up at the same time for the discount to apply. And then also we're currently working on merch, or I should say Mary is currently working on merch, and she would love to have our members send in ideas. Obviously, this clothing is meant for you all to wear, and we would never want you guys to wear something you don't like. So if you have a preference, please email her what you would like to wear. And also headed by Mary, because she does above and beyond, is hosting a book club of equity in education. It's going to be held after our November 17th meeting. And I believe she noted you don't necessarily have to be an aspiring aspiring ed member either. So if your roommate or your mom read this book and would like to talk about it or just be part of the conversation, they're more than welcome to join as well.
Just note that this is next meeting. This is after next meeting.
Yes.
And then I received an email from Badger Spill. And if you want more information, I will include it in our follow-up meeting.
And lastly, we have super exciting announcement. Our president-elect election is coming up soon. And I'll give a little bit of details. So what does the president-elect do? This is a position that is held during the spring semester. And the president-elect learns from our current president, which is me, about, I just saw Sienna's reaction, that just made me laugh. But would learn about how the president position works and the ins and outs of how to lead the Madison chapter. They'll have a chance to join e-board meetings and work one-on-one with me, so I can act as like a support throughout the spring semester to prepare you for the fall. And just to preface that, the president-elect will then hold the position of president for the 2021-2022 school year for UW-Madison chapter. And there's going to be more information on actually how to apply and like deadlines and stuff at our next meeting, Tuesday, November 17th. So please look out for that.
And then just another little reminder that our next meeting is November 17th. And thank you.
Okay, perfect. That's the end of our meeting. Thank you all so much for coming. Be safe tonight. I hope everyone, again, is safe and healthy. And we are really appreciative that you guys came to our meeting. So thank you all so much. I'm going to stop recording now.